Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Complete Python course for beginners. If you're new here, I'm really glad you joined. I'll be your guide as we keep learning Python step by step. In every programming language, at some point, we need a way to store information. And the tool we use to store information is called a variable. In this lesson, we're going to talk about variables in Python. A variable is simply a small storage box in your computer's memory that temporarily holds a piece of data, a number, a word, or any value you want to keep and use later. So, how do we actually create one? To create a variable, we first give it a name, for example, number. Then we assign a value to it using the assignment operator, which is the equal sign. The equal sign doesn't mean is equal to, like in math. In programming, it means store this value inside this variable. So if I want to store the number 5 inside a variable called number, I can write number equals 5. Now notice that nothing prints out when we run this line. What really happened is that Python created a memory cell called number, and inside that memory cell it placed the value 5. Whenever we write the word number from now on, Python understands that we're referring to the value stored inside that memory location. For example, if we type number, Python simply returns 5. We can also use variables inside arithmetic expressions, just like regular numbers. For example, if our variable number currently holds the value 5, and we write number plus 8, Python takes the value stored in number, adds 8 to it, and returns 13. We can even use the same variable more than once in a single expression. For example, number minus 2 plus number. Here, Python takes the value of number, subtracts 2, and then adds number again, and the final result is 8. We can also change the value stored inside a variable whenever we want. For example, if I now want the variable number to hold the value 9, I can write number equals 9. Here, we're simply assigning a new value to the same variable. And now, the variable number contains the value 9. If we check it by typing number, Python returns 9. There are several important rules and conventions for naming variables in Python, so let's go through them together. A variable name must be unique. If we already have a variable called number, we obviously cannot create another variable with the exact same name. However, it's important to note that Python is case-sensitive. So even if a variable sounds the same when we say it out loud, Python still treats it differently depending on how it's written. For example, the word number, written entirely in lowercase, is one variable. Number, with a capital N at the beginning, is a completely different variable. And number, spelled in all capital letters, is different as well. So just changing a single letter from lowercase to uppercase creates a brand new variable in Python. A variable name may contain only letters, digits, and underscores. That means no spaces, no punctuation marks, and no special characters of any kind. A variable name cannot start with a digit. You can use numbers inside the name, but the first character cannot be a number. A variable name cannot be a reserved Python keyword. Words like for, if, while, and others are built into the language, so they cannot be used as variable names. It's good practice to choose meaningful variable names. This isn't a strict rule, but it helps you, and anyone reading your code, understand what data the variable stores. Naming multi-word variables. When a variable name is made of multiple words, the common convention is to connect the words using underscores. We'll see examples of that later in the lesson. Since we now understand that Python distinguishes between lowercase and uppercase letters, we can actually create another variable called number, this time starting with a capital N, and give it a value. For example, number equals 4. This new variable is completely separate from the original variable number. So if we check the value of number, Python returns 9. because number and number are two different variables stored in two different memory locations. If I want a variable name that's made of multiple words, let's say a variable that represents the average of some numbers, I'll connect the words using underscores. So, for example, I can write AVG underscore of underscore number equal open parentheses number plus number close parentheses divided by 2. Now, let's take a look at what's inside this variable. And here's a quick pro tip. Instead of typing the entire name every single time, you can start typing the beginning of the variable name and hit the Tab key to let Python auto-complete it for you. Super helpful. And Python gives us a 6.5. And here are a few more useful tips when working with variables in Python. You can assign values to multiple variables at the same time. For example, in this case, the variable a receives the value 1, and the variable b receives the value 2. Python also allows us to assign the same value to several variables all at once. To do that, we can write a equals b equals c equals d equals 3. And if we check each one, a has the value 3, b has the value 3, c has the value 3, and d also has the value 3. If something didn't work or you got stuck, feel free to write a comment below. I'll be happy to help. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and share it with friends who want to learn Python. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.